Welcome back, everybody, to the morning after. Today, I'm doing just a little solo summer-themed episode. I also just really wanted to get some things off my chest. Nothing super serious, but I do feel like every June, this particular thing starts to happen to me. I have Kiera here with me, thank goodness, because honestly, I don't remember last time. Well, I've done a solo episode, but it's hard now.
Yeah, I can't even imagine at this point.
I know. So we'll see, we'll see how this goes. But before we get into that, just a reminder, the episode with Kit came out and you guys can probably tell how much I adore her and honestly how much of myself I see in her. I want to be the cool mom, but the respected mom as well. And I think there is a balance there, as we've talked about on this podcast. You're not your kid's friend, well, maybe until they're, adults, but you do want them to be able to come to you with anything. And I think that's an interesting balance to have, that they're not scared to talk to you about things, but they also respect you. So when you say things, obviously they listen and they do what you say. So, but I truly love that. So if you haven't listened to that, go listen to it. But we're going to get right into this. And so I'm going to start with my it's a lot. And it's summer. And summer is a lot, especially if you have kids running around. They're out of school. You're kind of like, what do I do with them? Right? We used to have this schedule. They go to school. I get my shit done. They come home. We have fun. We also yell at each other. And then we go to bed. Not before an I love you, of course, but that was kind of like our routine. And now, as everyone knows that has kids, that routine is gone. And what's also gone is the cafeteria at school. And I don't know what it is about my children, but actually, I think it's every kid. I'm not going to blame this on just my children. They're very picky eaters. And peanut butter is almost in everything that they like for lunch. I'm talking peanut butter and banana foldovers, which if you don't know what that is, just a piece of bread folded over with peanut butter and banana in there. Peanut butter and jellies, apples with peanut butter. I name anything with peanut butter and they like it. Anything without peanut butter, they turn their noses up at. I'm like, oh. And right now, we're at a camp where it is not just peanut free, it's nut free. Okay. Now, I understand that we have to be very, very name that word.
Conscientious.
Yes, thank you. Of children with nut allergies, because they are and people are like, kids have allergies all the time, but nut allergies are very, very extreme when kids have them, right? So you don't want to be the person who just disregards the nut-free policy and sends your kid with PB&J to cause a kid to have an anaphylactic reaction. That is just not...
You got that word.
Nurse at one point, But at the same time, I'm waking up every morning and I'm looking at my refrigerator going, the fuck do I pack these kids? Have I ever told you the story about the turkey in my house?
The turkey in your house?
The turkey sandwiches. No, not a live turkey. That was tough. Hold on. The turkey sandwiches I fed my kids.
No, let's hear it.
Oh my God. Okay. So this was in Michigan and I was trying to get them to try new things because their school also had a peanut situation when we were there. So we were every weekend, we would try something new for lunch. That was easy to pack. I made them a turkey and cheese on white bread, just very simple. I didn't put any mayonnaise on it. I didn't do anything. And I'm not good at I put it in front of them and they're I'm not eating it. In our house, you have to try it. You don't have to finish anything in our house, but you have got to try new things because that's how you know or you don't know. Tata can back this story. It's unbelievable. So they all take a bite. I don't remember if it was Chandler or Sawyer, sorry. But one of them is trying to chew it and looks at me and you can tell I'm like, oh shit. And she throws up.
On the table.
On the table. Okay. Well, didn't go well for the other two because they saw that both of them got sick. All three of my children threw up on the table. I have never put turkey in their faces ever again. I was terrified. It's one of those situations where people are always like, oh, they threw up, so I threw up. Oh no, I had 1, 2, 3. You know how when you're a parent, you are like, you're going to like this. Like every kid likes turkey and cheese. Like who doesn't like that? So just eat it. And then they eat it and they puke everywhere. And you're like, I'm so sorry. I felt horrible. But at the same time, like, damn it, cross that off the list. They don't like turkey and cheese. I tried it with crackers. Nope. It's something with the cold. It's something with the cold meat.
What? Why turkey?
Well, because that's like a cold cut. What else are you gonna use?
No, I mean, like, but why do all of them not like it? That's so bizarre.
I'm really, and I wonder it's because we didn't give into it when they were really little, like cold cuts, like ham or.
So they don't eat any of that? No roast beef? No?
No, they even have like a little bit of trouble with cheese and crackers. Like that was gonna be my go-to because like who doesn't like cheese and a Ritz cracker?
Oh my God, life is cheese and crackers.
Thank you. Hold that thought. I'm going to tell Chris to get the groceries outside because I just remember they're out there. Shit, there's cheese in there. Hold on. Anyways, back to it. So I really thought cheese and crackers was going to be the hit, not the hit. So then I was like, okay, yogurt and granola, great. But if they're going to a camp that's outside and it's hot, really tough to keep cool. And you can tell me about all these damn ice lunch boxes. It all melts. It's hot as shit in the valley here. And I love everyone who's like, you live in California. No, I live in the valley. Gets to be like 110. And Kira can back me up on that. Mm-hmm. Very hot. Everything melts. So like yogurt doesn't work. Then I was like, what about a bagel? Right?
Okay.
A bagel with cream cheese. Ooh. Still the heat might get to it. But I don't think that's a horrible decision. Like I'm now like thinking about that.
Just mild curdling.
Just, oh God, I hate that word. Ew. Yeah. You're right. Never mind. Fuck the bagel. Well, can't do a peanut butter bagel. We know this. So this is what it's a lot for me. I don't know what to pack my children for lunch. And honestly, they're in camp right now. This week, they're in camp 4 times. And guys, I'm not going to lie. I've sent McDonald's and Chick-fil-A. I don't know what to do. I literally don't know what to make them. Like if I make them a lunchbox, it's going to be a lunchbox of snacks.
Yeah.
I don't know what like the main thing should be.
Do they like hummus?
The twins will eat hummus, but Hunter and Tyler don't like it.
Okay.
And like I thought about ranch for like hot ranch, like for like carrots and celery. I don't know. I'm literally like, but like, what do you pack your kids?
Oh gosh.
Okay, thank you. So if you have any ideas, if you were listening to this podcast and you are just like me, and if you are listening to this podcast and you're not just like me and you have so many ideas in that beautiful mind of yours, please send them. And if you're like me, we will share them for you so that you have ideas. Someone told me to ask ChatGPT. Should we do that?
I love talking to ChatGPT.
Okay, hold on. Let's ask what we should make our children. All right, guys.
Main options, nut-free and fun.
Oh, I don't like fun because that's too much work.
I think your girls already don't like this, but sun butter and jelly.
No, sun butter tastes like cardboard. And don't tell me it doesn't. I've had it myself because I tried to give it to my kids and I was like, it tastes just like it. And then I tried it and I was like, that shit sucks.
Okay, and then number 2 is turkey and cheese.
Yep, nope, can't do that.
Mini pita pockets with hummus, cucumber, and shredded carrots.
I could give that to the twins.
Together like a sort of falafel situation.
Yeah, that's cute.
Pasta salad with cherry tomatoes, mozzarella, and olive oil. I used to get pesto pasta, like cold, it was good.
Okay.
Like pasta salad,
Cold
mozzarella,
pasta.
tomatoes. I don't know if they like tomatoes, but
No, God. I
Maybe
don't think they
that.
like cold pasta. Maybe I should try and work it in, though.
Well,
We should work it in.
110 degrees. It's my
Lukewarm.
boil.
My girdle. Ew.
Ew. I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay.
Mini pancake sandwiches,
But like, what's in the middle of the
cream
sandwiches?
cheese and strawberries. The same problem with cream cheese. Quesadilla slices.
I've done quesadilla slices. When you put them, so I tried to let them cool, obviously, because if you put them in the container when they're hot, I've learned they stick together. And so the kids have like a really fat grilled cheese situation going on.
Can you do like a little tinfoil, like
Yeah, maybe.
one slice tinfoil, one slice tinfoil?
Yeah, actually, that's a good
kids
idea.
are a pain in the ass, aren't they?
Welcome. Yep. You know, really
Welcome.
think about it. Really think about it.
Really thinking about it. Okay, hard-boiled eggs.
No. Like what? What kid wants a shout out to the kids that like hard-boiled eggs. I'll give them that. Well done, parents.
That's, not in California.
But also, like, no one's going to like your kid because your lunch smells like ass. It's true.
Okay, wait. Fruits and veggies, but we, Try that.
Yeah.
Guac. Ew, guac, warm guac. Snacks and treats. And then we're getting into stuff that has no nutritional value. To be fair, this is not a lot.
Yeah.
This is not a lot.
That's like the smartest thing out there right now.
Yeah, this is a robot. And the robot can't even figure out how to raise a human child.
You know what? If you're creative, though, I guarantee you there's some really creative moms listening to this and have like good go-to lunches. So please share them. But that's what's a lot for me right now because I just am really struggling with that. And it's very stressful every morning. And the kids are like, Mom, what'd you pack me for lunch? I'm like, surprise, you'll see when you get there. Because I don't even really know what I'm packing them. Besides, they love when I order them McDonald's or Wendy's, though.
I mean, I would love that too.
I know. I mean, didn't every kid, when you were in school and your parents dropped off McDonald's for you for some reason because they forgot your lunch? Oh, it was the best.
Oh, if I had Chick-fil-A, if I was young enough to do that, I would have had that all the time.
Yeah, I did. I did do that. And then I did it to my kids and now they don't like it, which is a huge problem for me. I chose Function because it is the best in the world for testing and it's incredibly easy. It's an all-in-one health platform with over 100 advanced lab tests covering your entire body. So when you go get a physical from the doctor, they don't go very deep. This Function testing goes 5 times more than the average physical. And guys, when I got my results, this is how I knew that there was something going on with my health. I'm so grateful to Function, and it is also why it's recommended by hundreds of health experts. Kicking off the summer, Function is sharing their Long Live campaign. Long Live is a celebration of the everyday moments that make life worth staying healthy for. I'm talking long live these summer nights, long live snuggling on the couch watching cartoons in the morning with my kids, long live those date nights with Matthew. So in the spirit of long live and taking control of your health, get $100 credit towards your annual membership at www.functionhealth.com/morningafter. This $100 credit is only for the first 1,000 listeners. Sign up at www.functionhealth.com/morningafter. All right, we're going to get into this. This is like a summer clean out episode, which I'm calling it that one because I told you guys that I'm kind of like going through all of my stuff in my closet and kind of getting rid of some stuff. But also I just need to like clear out my mind with summer because there's just some things I've been working through. So I'm going to kind of get through it. But right now, as we speak, my closet is getting torn apart, which I love. Okay. And Kira was with me up there as we were going through it. And there is some stuff from there in there that I wore like when Matthew got drafted to the Lions. Now, you're going to sit there and go, why do you still have those clothes? Like, what? You can get whatever. There's a lot of sentimental value in some of this stuff. And I have a really, my loyalty. Mm-hmm. Well, my loyalty runs deep, and even to my clothes I wear and my shoes. So it is really, really hard to get rid of things. But they are upstairs going through it right now, and it's Mary from Michigan. If you guys know her, Styled by Mary, she is here, which I love, and helping me do that. And also just, like I said, just helping me kind of class things up a little bit. No more booty shorts, no more straight see-through things. There's a few see-through left, but no more like, just something my parents would be proud of, but also I will have something that I feel sexy into because I think that's important. You know what Hank asked me? Sorry, side note, the other day, he's like, well, I think if women feel sexy in something, they should wear it. And you know what I should have said to him? Kanye's girlfriend. What's her name?
Bianca Censori.
Okay, Censori. That makes sense because everything's censored when she gets photographed. But I'm sure she feels sexy. Does that mean she needs to walk around naked?
I see the point that you're making, but it's a debatable thing as to whether or not she was enjoying the parading around naked.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's just use an example of like a really hot woman dressed in literally nothing to go pick up her kids.
Yeah, that's tricky because you're impeding on what other parents might want to be teaching their children.
Agreed. And I also just think there's like an appropriateness that as we get to a certain point in life that we need to start to respect. And like you said, like setting a good example for the generation below us or the generation that we're raising. And that's honestly not that I think that's all on my shoulders by any means, but I just want to do better.
I guess my question for you is, where is the line? Like between sexy and inappropriate?
I think that's a good point. I think it's different for everybody. I think, there are things that look very provocative on me that might not look as provocative as someone who doesn't have a chest. You know, like there's like, I think it's different for everyone. But I just also think with me raising 4 girls, that's where my line is. Like I've got to realize that. And that their worth is not in what they look like or what they're dressed in, but more so just who they are. So
this is about vanity, maybe more so than appropriateness. Is that fair to say?
Vanity's a big word for me.
Sorry, vanity meaning like
I know the word, but like, give me another sentence.
You're hoping to maybe not to put words in your mouth, but you're hoping to maybe dress so that the attention is not drawn to your appearance, but who you are, perhaps.
Yes. And to be honest, like living anywhere, but there are very attractive people wherever you might live and might dress really hot because you know what? They've got the body and they can rock it and they feel good in it and that's great. But I also just think for me in particular, I do have a responsibility for my girls. But it's also me kind of tying myself back to my roots a little bit and how I grew up. It was never, I mean, God, I wore the same denim skirt for 7 years. Matthew will tell you that. And polo shirts, like legit, like the polo with the denim skirt. For literally from my freshman year of high school to my junior year of college when I moved up to Michigan and it was too cold to do that. So again, I kind of want to get back to who I am and in that sort of sense and help raise my daughters with the kind of realization that, okay, yes, we can look a certain way and whatever they're comfortable in for the most part, I think I'll be okay with, but like we also know our value's not there. And I do think I had been putting a little bit more value on, you know, what I looked like on a date night than like the actual date. I don't know, you know?
I understand.
Yeah. And I don't think it was for me. I think I was doing it for Matthew, but I was also maybe doing it because I didn't want people to be like, wait, that's his wife. You know what I mean?
Like you had to put your appearances on display. Otherwise, they'd question why he was with you.
Yeah. In a way, like that's how I felt. So I'm just kind of over it. And so the summer clean out's happening. You know what is also really hard about summer? I mean, and I feel like every mom can kind of relate to this. You are expected to get your kids to everything, to schedule them for everything first. Actually, to even make sure they get into the camps very early on. But getting them there, and obviously, I mean, in most households, someone's working. So if your kids are going to different camps or doing things like not going to the same place, you know, you're having to stagger drop-offs and you're getting thrown all different directions when you're in the summer because there's no routine. Routines are important, especially for kids. I mean, this is how I feel, but you're also having to work in just actually visit. If you don't live in the same, or if you live in the same place as your family, you're having to work in these visits in a way because summer's a really easy time to do it because the kids are not in school. So you get extended amount of time. And this is like, again, it happens in June every year to me. And I do, fortunately and unfortunately, it feels like it falls on my shoulders. But to get my family together. And when I say my family, my extended family. And not only that, but also getting to Matthew's family. Matthew has a lot of things on his mind, on his plate, even in the off season. So I'm constantly trying to just like think, okay, when can we go to Dallas? When can we fly to Atlanta? Where are we staying when we're there? What can the kids do while they're there? What about going somewhere with all the cousins? You know, trying to really make these trips not only, I don't know, just to see them, but also like a really fun time of memory per se, you know? And my family knows this, and it really is no one's fault by any means. And I want to actually, Monica Patman brought this up, but we'll get to her in a second when she was on the podcast. But it is the fact that I understand that I'm very blessed financially. And so it is almost expected that we will be going to wherever everyone is, which is totally fine. It really is. But that doesn't mean it's not hard and tiring and moving around all of our schedule to make sure it fits with theirs. Traveling to see people, it's tough. Like, and what I remember Monica Padman being on the podcast, and she was like, it is expected of a single person with no kids to be the one to change all of our plans, to make it work for the families. Mm-hmm. And, I never thought about that when she said it, but it's very true. I have some friends without kids, and and after that, I kind of like took a step back, because I don't think she wasn't saying that it was like technically wrong, but she was just like, there has to be some sort of compromise, or just some like gratitude.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, for the friends that I know that don't have kids that are around, I don't really show I had not shown much gratitude for. Like, I'm like, yeah, you're not busy. What are you doing? Well, turns out these people have lives.
we do. As people, we do.
Like, you're people too. You have things going on. And so I do think sometimes I get this feeling of just like, I just get a little tired, not tired of anything, but I'm just exhausted. First of all, when I fly to Atlanta, and again, I will do this nonstop, because I will make this work. I want to see my family. I never see my brother, especially. And so any time that I can make that work, I will move mountains to get home. At the same time, it just, sometimes I would love hey, thanks for getting everyone here. Thanks for getting us all together. Because those times are meaningful. They're meaningful for our kids. They're meaningful to me. Another thing like about traveling, and I'm sure everyone understands this, that is not, maybe that you don't live where you grew up. Whether you are single or have a family or don't have kids, whatever it might be, you go to these places and you feel like you have to see everybody, or people's feelings get hurt. I go home and my priority is my family. And I have a massive family, as Matthew has pointed out on this podcast so many times before. But I love that family. And that is my immediate, then my extended. Those are my priorities. And I have a lot of friends in Georgia that I love and that I miss terribly. But I can't do everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like people forget, like if I don't visit someone and they get upset, I feel like people forget that I also have 4 kids on a time change.
Who probably care more about seeing their family than your friends as well.
Cousins.
Yeah.
They love their cousins and they rarely get to see them. So yes, I will spend as much time as I can with my family. And sometimes it's tough to go home. And I do think it usually gets put on a woman's shoulders, because women just are better at scheduling and managing, I would say.
Yeah.
Here's what I'd say. They're better at multitasking. Okay. So there's that. I'm in the middle of it right now, and that's why I'm a little flustered.
Yeah. Are you tired, perhaps? Kelly has this amazing hat on.
Late tired. I am so tired. But yeah, it has been on my mind now, and I'm leaving Friday, which, I'm so excited for this. But if you have family coming to see you, just make sure you thank them for even just traveling to get there. Things they show up, and it's always exciting. My kids run in. They're so excited to see their cousins. I'm so excited. I'm going to see my brother and my sister and my family. But then you got to go back to the car and you got to lug the suitcases in and you got to unpack everything and make sure all the kids. It's also, and people can relate to this, staying in someone else's house.
Ooh, it's never quite what you want personally out of a stay.
No, it's not. And you always have to be mindful of things that are scattered in my home that is normal here isn't normal for my parents or my sister or whoever I might be staying with. And so you're constantly I don't know, it's stressful.
Of course.
And I just sometimes would a thank you. I don't know.
Well, it's amazing how far gratitude really will go, because I don't think you'd feel this way even a little bit if you felt properly, I don't know, thanked.
And yeah, I agree. And it's such a small thing, but a lot of times I do this and it festers and I don't say anything. If I plan trips for our families, or I plan days that we get to go do something fun. And I try to make it as seamless as possible because there's always a ton of kids involved. Because we have 4 on our own, and then, you add 2 with the Stafford family, you add God knows how many with my side. You know how I was somewhat of the forgotten child growing up? I feel like it's just like forgotten. Like it's just, and I don't want to say expected either, but it's just like become, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it.
Well, I'll say this as someone who spends a lot of time around you and your family, is that I feel like everyone is very open about how privileged you are. And I feel like I've seen you walk around in this life and people will just expect you to pay for something or just expect you to do something. And you're incredible in that you're like, well, yeah, the elephant in the room is that I can do that. And that's great. And I'm from the South and I am more than happy to host you and do it too. But that doesn't mean that you don't appreciate any sort of offering of of contributing to the effort,
right?
Whether that be time, money, or whatever,
right?
And I don't mean to speak for you, but
no,
I've
you're
noticed
right
that too because it surprised me, and I'm not of the same means, so I notice these things.
Yeah, and I actually appreciate you saying that because I will say too, like it is not that my family. I will say my dad is incredible in the fact that he will never ever let me pay for anything. Ever when I'm around him. He knows the situation. Obviously, everybody in the world knows the situation. You should look it up on Google. But he is like, you're my daughter. I will not allow you or Matthew to buy any dinner. When you're with me, you're mine. And I'm always so thankful and grateful. And I show that very much to him because it is very rare that happens.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't faze me when that stuff does, because of the fact that I can, and I love, usually I'm out with people that I love and I want to take care of and I want to, treat to something. But like you said, that just doesn't mean you go without thanks.
Yeah.
And so again, this is me just kind of venting. I'm sorry to you guys about this, but I do feel like some moms out there can relate to just kind of being in charge of everything and forgetting, and I just let it like build up inside and then it all explodes like it is right now. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God. And I went back to Monica Padman. I was like, oh my God, she was saying this, how people just expect her to do things because she lives a certain lifestyle. She's single.
Yeah. And to be honest, with that situation in particular, I was listening to that and I was thinking, wow, am I going to still have these people in my life once I have a partner? Will they meet me halfway? What if you were suddenly without means?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I have the best family that would do anything to make it work. They really would. I also put it on myself a lot to be like, let us do it. Because you know what? It's easier for us to get from here to there. It is easier. It is in a way of like financial, right? But it doesn't mean it's easier in general, meaning like we're still flying across the country with all of our children, time change, figuring out where we're staying, what we're doing every day, where my kids can go with their cousins, where they can have a really good time. I mean, yes, they can spend 10 days in the backyard in Atlanta. Absolutely. But like memories, I want to like do something that they'll remember.
Yeah. Well, question for you. Let's brainstorm here for everyone that can relate to this, because I'm sure so many people can relate to being either the most privileged family unit, integrator family, or the most communicative person of your family unit. Like, how can you communicate needing gratitude? Like, how can you ask for what you need in that way?
Well, this podcast.
just send a link and be like, hey, take a quick listen to this, see if you hear anything familiar.
No, my dad listens to every podcast, so he will hear this. But my dad, like, and it's not, my family's fucking awesome. Like, I have the best, I really do. It's something that is, I feel like, rare these days. And even my extended family, we are very, very close. And even in distance of living, now we're all within like 4 square miles, which there's like 60 of us. So that's a lot. I'm very lucky in that sense. I am. And I don't want this to come off as like my family is. It is just something that I have felt and I don't say anything and then it builds. And I'm sure if they listen, well, I'm sure when they listen to this podcast, they're gonna be like, oh my God, why didn't you say something? Yeah. But I also just wanted to voice it on here because I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way. And it can be like just, I don't know, picking up your nephew because you and your son go to the same camp every day and you're picking them up and taking them back. And that is very like small but huge. And just like people understand like, oh, thank you so much for doing that, because if not, I'd have to make this 30-minute drive back and forth and manage my schedule a little differently. But it's really, honestly, you've opened it up and I really appreciate that.
Yep. It's all about being thoughtful, right? It's hard to ask people to think about other people. It is.
I know. And and again, this is no slight on this is really more of a slight on me and just not being like, hey, you're welcome for getting us all here. But I am very excited. We are going to Atlanta on Friday. I'm so damn excited to see them. I saw my sister recently, but I haven't. My brother was in town for Easter for a hot 12 hours. So I'm really excited to see him and his wife and all their kids and just let our kids run around and have fun and make memories and all those things. I feel like it happens every summer because scheduling trips around camps, around doctor's appointments, around Matthew's camp, my situations, there's a lot of people involved and I'm lay tired. Ladies and gentlemen, a great story right here, heartwarming and refreshing and true. A lady named Phyllis walks into a neighborhood pharmacy in Colonia, New Jersey, and asks the pharmacist for an antioxidant cream for her wrinkles. The pharmacist says, I'll compound one for you, come back tomorrow. Phyllis uses this cream for 3 days, goes to her dermatologist appointment. The doctor, just looking at her, thinks she got work done. Phyllis tells everyone about the pharmacy and the pharmacist who makes the magical cream. And that's, believe it or not, how Genucel skincare was born. Genucel is some of my favorite skincare, guys. I've just started working it into my routine. I'm absolutely loving their Gen 90, which is the eye cream, but also their moisturizer in general. You guys know I run dry, and this really does just give you that good moisture that you need. Anyways, that was 25 years ago with Phyllis. Genucel shipped millions of orders, and yet they still have the same philosophy of antioxidants, same natural base, and same chef in the kitchen. Celebrating 25 years, Genucel is offering the best pricing since Phyllis walked into George's Pharmacy. And right now, save an extra 50% off membership pricing on Genucel's complete skincare package featuring their under eye bags and puffiness treatment, jawline sculpting treatment, and immediate effects for results in minutes. Look, 5, 10, even 15 years younger, guaranteed, or you get your money back. Go to Genucel.com/Kelly, Genucel.com/Kelly. Every order includes free shipping and use Kelly at checkout for an extra discount. Genucel.com/Kelly, Genucel.com/Kelly. And if you can't spell like me, then it's GENUCEL.com/Kelly. This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. You know what I also forgot to mention with this summer clean out that we're doing? Those are my summer thoughts so far. I'm sure I'll have more. I said it on the podcast that I've been working on my ass. And, it's gotten a little larger. I've also been, just eating a little more. So maybe that's why. But I no longer fit in to my jeans. And I have a lot of jeans. And normally I would say that this has happened multiple times before. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get back. I'm going to get it back into shape here. But the problem is I don't feel out of shape. I think I'm good. Like, instead of going and hanging those jeans back up, I put them in a box and I'm going to ship them to my sister-in-law, who is that size. And instead, I'm just going to buy a size up or 2. I don't know. I gotta see. I'm gonna like try it on. Now, I always tried to be small. You know what I mean? And I've talked to you about this before. Like I had a horrible relationship with food ever since cheering at Georgia. Because my coach made me feel like I was 500 pounds, which like, blah. I will say though, you look back at those pictures and not me. Like I don't feel like I look big, but the guy holding me up is really struggling. All of his veins are like popping out his face. He's like holding his breath. I'm like, damn. But anyways, I feel like I've got to let that go a little bit and understand that I don't need to be a certain size. Like I just need to be happy and comfortable.
Oh my gosh. And it's not like everyone has x-ray vision and can see the number on the inside of your pants.
No. And you know what? I like what I look like with a little bit of thickness down there. I don't mind it. I know my husband likes it. But I tell you what, we talk about the Super Bowl year a lot, not on this, but Kiera and I do. And I was about 2 pounds. And I look back at that and I'm like, oh. That year, moving to LA, the pressure that was on him, I couldn't eat. He could eat fine. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. That was a really hard year for me. But, and you can tell. You can tell in the Super Bowl pictures. I mean, my arm is like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what? I've gotten to the point in my life that I am finally, and like this has been since I was 17. You know what I mean? Like since I was a freshman at Georgia. That I'm finally comfortable being like, you know what? Why am I going to kill myself to be that size?
Yeah, especially when you're unhappier when you're smaller.
Oh my God.
Like there's a correlation there.
Oh, there absolutely is. And like the relationship with food is bad. Like I've just finally gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give in a little bit. Not give in, but just like be happy and comfortable in the size that I'm meant to be. I don't think I'm meant to be the size I have been for the past, since 2021. And I'd be like 2022, 2023, like yes, every year I had gained a little bit of weight, but I still was never the size I should be. I was still always really small. My dad always said it when I went home or he came here. He'd be like, huh, you eating? You're really small. And like, I am a muscular person. So I feel like I'm like, well, I'm just like in shape. But he's right. Like I'm just like, I don't know. I'm too worried about it. And now I've come to the point, and I think it's kind of this realization of me right now in life that I've got to kind of like get back to who I am and not worry about the outside as much. And I know, God, I'm like, we're talking about this. I'm like, here's my plastic surgery. And then here's me, giving in. And a lot of people are like, oh, she's giving up, which I hate that. I hate that people say that.
Whoa, what do you think they mean when they say that?
You know how people are like, when a woman has gained weight, they're like, oh, she really gave up on herself. Do you know what I mean?
Like she's settled. She's not paying attention to herself, putting the kids first.
Yeah. When I it's almost like, ugh. She really let herself go kind of thing. Ugh. When women get comfortable in who they are and their natural body type, I feel like sometimes it gets turned on them where they're like, God, she really let herself go.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm going to go gain 200
Be
pounds.
Unhealthy.
Yes, I'm not that. I honestly think where I have been has been unhealthy. Like I think where I'm at now and possibly where I'm like want to be is healthy for not only like my body, but also like my mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. I really wish that we could somehow do away with numbers when it comes to bodies, weight, the size of your dress, your pants, whatever it is. I know we need that as a basis to shop. So we know, what to look for.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know what size pants you were, you probably wouldn't have a negative thought about your body right now because you feel very strong and in shape and hot.
I feel great. And I would say that about a lot of women. If they didn't know a size on their pant. And listen, this is not a podcast of promoting like unhealthy things or what's a good way to say that?
We're not advocating for unhealthy treatment of your body. We're not excess of anything.
No, yeah. It's just like knowing kind of like knowing, I feel like everyone knows where their body is kind of supposed to be.
Is happiest.
Yes. And I think that is where you need to be. Because honestly, where your body's happiest, that's where you're going to be happiest. And I understand that might put some, there's so much pressure out there to be certain sizes and whatnot. And like, there is people built that could never be a size 0. Ever. I don't care if they didn't eat for the next 5 years, they wouldn't be a size 0.
I could never be a size 0. I'm far too tall and I'm far too curvy. And I'm still a skinny girl, but I'm considered curvy, and I would never be a size 0.
You're considered curvy?
I actually, they changed the rules, but I tried to model in my early 20s, and I was considered plus size, and I was probably a little smaller than I am now.
Yeah,
because at the time, like, it was anything above a size 6, and I think I was an 8.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Who is below a size 6 these days? I also feel like they're fucking with the sizes to fuck with our minds.
No, but they actually are.
Okay, good. Fine. But I don't know. It's just been quite a few months for me, just with, I will say, like, the headline. So a lot of the headlines have helped me get to this place, which I'm grateful for. I hated a lot of the headlines, but like, it also kind of made me snap and be like, what am I doing? Like, first of all, why am I caring about these things and those things and what?
Was there a headline that was a turning point for you?
For this?
Yeah.
No, not really. Because it's never been, I don't think there's ever been really headlines about me and my body and staying in shape. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, there were the headlines about the plastic surgery, but like, I mean, I'm going to get my tits redone. Like, I don't really care about that. And I had twins. My skin was loose. I got to tighten that shit back up.
Well, again, it all comes down to what can you do to feel more like yourself?
Yeah. And honestly, like I said, wasn't myself. I haven't been myself since we moved to California. And that's not a slight on California. That was just like, first the pressure for him and me just like reacting to that and not knowing how to honestly, I felt like all I wanted to do was support him and try and get him there, that I like completely forgot kind of about myself. And what are you doing? Get my watch off. Get my watch off.
It was calling, so I came to get you.
I know. Mary just called me. Thank you very much. I will be out there in a second.
Mary and them are eating dinner with us too.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Tai for the gift.
We'll be out. We'll be out in just a little bit. Okay.
Bye.
It's okay, baby.
Thank you for the apology.
I was trying to run so fast to get you the call. It was
Oh, okay. That's very sweet. I love you. I'll be out in a second. My God. Where was I? The headlines. Okay.
Yeah.
Plastic surgery.
There hasn't been. I said something about it's all about feeling like yourself again.
That was so good. Yeah.
Because I'll say that again.
Yeah.
I really feel like it just comes down to what can you do to feel like yourself. And that's my personal ethical stance on getting work done. Like, for some people, they feel more like themselves if they get their nose done. Like, they would feel more like who they are inside if their nose wasn't pulling their eye in the mirror every single day.
Got it.
There's, of course, a slippery slope, right?
Yeah, of course there is. Yes.
And then on the flip side, you might feel more like yourself if you're treating your body the way that you do when you're happy, when you're eating what you want within reason and all of that.
Yes. Everything within reason. And that's like, that's a really, this is always what I tell my kids. Listen, you want to have sweets? Of course you can have sweets. Of course. But let's balance that within reason of like, let's have a healthy breakfast and let's make sure, or let's go play soccer outside for a little bit and like get those. So like, I do think, these past few years, I haven't been balancing well by any means. Like, I'll play tennis for 3 hours and come home and eat a meal that's this big. Like, what am I doing? Yeah. And I don't eat breakfast. And it's just like, and then I eat a small dinner and it just, and yes, was I still hungry? Of course I was. I was like, no, I'm portion controlling.
And then crashing at the end of the day and having a handful of Swedish fish.
Well, yeah, I know. I say that's the reason I can have my Swedish fish sometimes, because I'm like, well, I had a small dinner. No, but like at the same time, I'm going, no, I played tennis for 3 hours today. I should be able to like eat whatever my body wants right now, within reason. But it's just been something that I've kind of been going back and forth on for a while. And these past couple months have really gone, you know what? It's time for me to let this go, this pressure go to be a certain size. And I know all women feel it. This is not just me. All women feel that they should be a size smaller. And that's either pressure from themselves, pressure from social media, pressure from God bless anyone else. And if you're getting pressure from someone else, lose them.
Women get it from their significant others all the time.
No, they don't.
Totally. We can talk about that sometime, but my ex did that to me. It was horrible. Horrible. And he was a great guy. He didn't really understand. Yeah, he didn't really understand what he was doing to me, but he was trying to control what I ate because he didn't understand. And we'll get into this on a girl talk episode.
God,
but
yeah, we need a girl talk.
He didn't understand that when I went off birth control, I gained weight because of my hormones and not because I was eating badly. And we lived together at the time, and it was part of the reason we broke up.
I need this. Okay, we're gonna definitely have to have a girl talk because I need this. I gotta write this down though because I gotta ask you about this.
Yeah.
I will say Matthew has never ever said anything about my weight ever.
It's such a green flag in somebody.
Like he is, and he would like if like for instance, he knew I played tennis for 3 hours and I came home, he saw my lunch and he's like, "You gotta still be hungry, babe. Like, go get you some, like." And he'll just like encourage me to eat more, but he would never be like, "Babe, lay off those," or "Babe, you're way too skinny." He would never say that. So like, he might encourage me in different ways when he thinks I'm too small. He's never ever mentioned me being too big by any, like he just would never do that to anybody. But I do think like during the Super Bowl year, he got a little concerned and was just like, "Hey, like, you want to get some ice cream?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna throw up ice cream." Like I just couldn't. I don't know. Food just was not happening for me that year.
Yeah.
It was just I had such anxiety.
You were throwing up too.
Oh my God. Before, every time I ate, I felt like I would get sick, especially at games. But like, I don't know. I was just I saw a doctor after that year. So we're all good now, but it was tough. But I guess in my summer clean out, like I am just kind of cleaning out these negative thoughts and also not putting myself in a position where I feel the need to be a certain somebody or a certain size. I am who I am. I've always liked who I am. I don't know how to say that sentence. Yeah, was am. And I'm really just gonna try this summer to kind of get back to that and not worry so much about the outside situation. I know Matthew loves me no matter what, especially when it comes to, I mean, he wouldn't love me if I was like rude and mean and not fun and stuff like that. But like when it comes to what I look like, he's seen me at a lot of, lot of like, I would say college, waking up next to me, probably not looking great. You know what I mean?
The
like
chipped front teeth.
Oh, no, the missing front teeth.
Yeah, you had missing front teeth at one point. Matthew can love you in like any state, I think.
Like that. Guys, I don't know if I've talked about it before, but if you don't remember, I've talked about this, but my teeth in the front were gray because they were dead because someone kept I just got elbowed a lot. And I had at first 2 fake teeth here that, just to try and not do full, but like when I was younger. And we were on the boat at 4th of July and Stephen Kandari shoved a mic in my face and hit my tooth and my tooth fell out. And so instead of me being like, "Oh my," which like, honestly, I was tipsy and I don't know. Everyone on that boat who I love so much knew about my fake teeth in the front. And so I was like, "Oh, who cares?" And so my party trick was I would be talking to someone and I had it in and then I would just like suck it to my cheek and then I'd laugh and they were like, oh my God, your tooth is gone. I'm like, no. And like, guys, it's not like the whole tooth is gone. It would be better if the whole tooth was gone. It's like the mini tooth that they shave down so they can put the veneer on or the crown or whatever the hell it's called. I don't even know. And so it's just like this little tiny gray straggler. Y'all, if you can love me with that, I feel like he really does love me, you know? It's real love. It's real love. So I'm grateful for him. We're going to talk about your boy next time. In closing, guys, just give yourself some grace this summer. I'm going to try to do the same. Lots of patience, especially with traveling. And if you have people coming to see you or doing anything that might seem small, doesn't even matter. Just a thank you is all it takes to make it feel like it was completely warranted for that person to do whatever they were doing for you. I know that was a little deep, this episode, but I have good news because this Monday, we have a comedian with over 1 billion views across socials and a hilarious comedy special on Hulu. I was personally a fan of him and his TikToks before we had him on, but now I am even more so. I don't think we stopped laughing. So tune in for that. Also, don't forget, rate 5 stars, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I can't believe we have a YouTube channel. That's crazy. And also until next Monday, be safe out there. Enjoy whatever vacations or non-vacations or staycations or camps you might be sending your kids to or dates you might be going on. What else is fun? I don't know. But until then, have a splash.
Make a splash.